Thank you very much, Alan, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to have the opportunity of saying a few words before all of our participants here today, and I want to thank all of you for giving your time to this event, because we really do value your input and your engagement, and we look forward to considering all of the points that have been made, all of the various perspectives that have been shared, the issues that have been raised, and to, in the best way that we can, encompass all of those into a coherent national economic plan at a time of such extraordinary change and such extraordinary uncertainty. And just building on the comments there from my colleague Minister Donoghue, on Budget Day we introduced what I regard as a budget for its time, the largest budget package in the history of the state, designed to match the scale of the enormous challenge that our country and our people face at this time. And in a time of crisis and uncertainty, it is imperative that the government respond with decisiveness and clarity. And that is what we have sought to do. And you and others can come to your own conclusion as to how successful we have been in that regard. We're all well aware of the massive twin challenges that we face at this time. A global pandemic unseen in living memory, and at the same time, our nearest neighbour and largest trading partner at country level is drastically altering its relationship with the European Union and accordingly with ourselves as well. And so, in common with nations throughout the world, we are also in the grip of a climate emergency. Domestically, we continue to grapple with the challenges that were there pre-COVID as well, in housing and homelessness and in other areas. So considered in isolation, any one of these issues would be hugely challenging, but taken together, they amount to a test of the character of our nation. And in the words of our Taoiseach, we are fighting for both lives and livelihoods, and that is the guiding principle that we have worked towards in all of the decisions that we have made in recent weeks and recent months. And that's why, since the formation of this government back at the end of June, we've come together to deliver a roadmap for recovery. We know from previous periods of economic hardship that curtailing capital investment, for example, only impedes economic recovery. We have set about ensuring that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past in a number of ways, through the July stimulus package that we brought forward in the early weeks in the life of this government, the budget which we introduced last week, the National Economic Plan which is being worked on and which is the subject of today's engagement with all of you, and of course the forthcoming review of the National Development Plan as well. With the July stimulus package, the new government immediately put vital supports in place for businesses and employment, building on the work of the previous government when they had to, in a rapid manner, respond in a really innovative and dramatic way to the issues that emerged back in March and in April. The July stimulus included investing €500 million in our capital infrastructure, targeting job-rich projects and contributing to the key missions of the new government, such as climate change, Brexit and housing as well. In addition, I announced a further €500 million further stimulus and support measures for 2020 in last week's budget, again including relief for businesses through the extension of the commercial rates waiver, the acceleration of important capital works and programmes as well. We've accelerated and enhanced capital investment still further in Budget 2021, which means that for the first time in the history of our state, we will deliver more than €10 billion of exchequer resources for critical projects across all regions of our country next year. So the budget is the culmination of weeks of effort and reflection by Minister Donoghue, myself and all of our colleagues in government, and it forms part of a coordinated strategic plan plan, which will support our economy, businesses and households at this incredibly difficult time. On the capital front, we will achieve this by delivering a whole range of projects. For example, the N56 in Donegal, the N4 in Sligo, the N5 in Mayo, the N22 at Dunkettle in Cork, the purchase of over 40 additional intercity rail car carriages, the signing of contracts for the largest ever fleet expansion with potential for up to 600 electric carriages as part of DART Plus, ensuring our economic recovery is a green one. Up to 20 higher education building projects across the country, 145 school building projects, the acceleration of the National Broadband Plan, the enhancement of infrastructure at Dublin Port and Rosslare Europort to deal with the capacity issues that will arise in the context of Brexit, and further support for Cork and Shannon airports as well. We committed in the programme for government to the development of a new national economic plan, and that's why we are all here today engaging in this process to shape and build a renewed economy for the future. And in doing so, we will ensure that decisions and investments made now, even during the crisis, are consistent with longer-term goals for the economy and society. So far, our work has concentrated on three broad but very much interrelated goals: building resilience across our enterprises and different sectors of our economy, an inclusive and balanced recovery, in particular for the labour market, future-proofing our economy and society, as captured in the titles of the breakout sessions that have been held today. So I and colleagues in government have been working to deliver a sustainable macroeconomic approach and identifying opportunities for relevant and appropriate strategic investment. But our work is far from over, and that's why we need to hear from you, our stakeholders, who are giving so generously of your time, your expertise, and sharing your experience with us as part of this process. I believe it's essential that we as a government listen attentively to your views and respond as we fashion our response to an unprecedented economic and social set of challenges that we undoubtedly face. Finally, I referenced the forthcoming review of the National Development Plan, which is another key pillar of the programme for government. To ensure our capital spending supports regional development and to align with this government's priorities, the review of the NDP will be launched very shortly. The NDP 2018 to 2027 sets out a 10-year programme of capital investment aiming at upgrading Ireland's infrastructure, enhancing our economic capacity and promoting balanced regional development. The NDP is, of course, a pillar of Project Ireland 2040, alongside the National Planning Framework, which sets the overarching spatial strategy for the next 20 years and was developed by the former Department of Housing, Planning and Local Government. So this upcoming review of the NDP will provide an opportunity to ensure delivery of more infrastructure to more people, including better and greener public transport, broadband, housing and a wide range of social, cultural and community projects. So I look forward to providing further details about the NDP review in the near future. And I would like to thank all of today's speakers for their really enlightening contributions, and I look forward with anticipation, as Minister Donoghue said, to reviewing the feedback from the different sessions that have been held today. And this is an incredibly difficult time for our people and for our country, and it is more important than ever that we mind each other over the next 6 weeks, and I have no doubt that the strength of communities throughout our country will shine and will come to the fore, and we just need to knuckle down, get through this period. The supports that we have provided in the budget and that we have enhanced even in the last 48 hours will hopefully help to sustain businesses that unfortunately have to close their doors in the national interest and in the interest of public health. And I have no doubt that with those supports, many of those businesses now have a real fighting chance of coming through this period. And it is about sustaining jobs so that when we get through this period of level 5 and hopefully make really significant improvements on the public health front, that we can come down the levels, that we can allow a resumption of greater economic activity. But that does involve all of us doing all that we can to support the public health messages. And many of you are leaders in your own communities, many of you are leaders of different sectors, and as a government we would just ask ask and encourage you to use your influence over that period of time to get the maximum benefit out of this period. As a government, we will use this period as well to plan for the further steps that we need to take in managing this public health crisis, and also in managing and planning the economic recovery that we're all working to bring about. So thank you so much, Alan, for your time, and for all of our participants for their engagement and their time today. It's deeply appreciated. Thank you.